And we also believe that ECOWAS parliaments or regional parliaments should dedicate their efforts to educating the people about what they do, basically, right? Because if you are working and those that you are serving or you claim to serve do not understand what you are doing, do not know what you are doing, what then becomes the benefits or the essence of what you are doing to them? So we believe that they need to commit to engaging the public on what they do. And of course, like examples we gave yesterday, through the African Parliamentary Press Network, we have also been engaging some members of the ECOWAS parliaments and even the Pan-African Parliament, as was mentioned. And so once they attend their sessions and all of that, our strategy is that we provide the platforms for them to engage the media. And so just to narrate or to share whatever they want to do in the parliament, so they can ask questions, so they can also make recommendations, and they can hear their voices, basically. So these are strategies that we also have been taking, and of course, on the side of the ECOWAS Parliament, we believe that's what they can do.
Well, on the East African Legislative Assembly, yesterday we were told when we criticize, my sentiments will be in low tones because it will be criticism. So our engagement in the Legislative Assembly is on the basis of trying to link the people and what the Assembly does, because it is true there is no visibility of the Assembly. It is true that people do not really relate their day-to-day lives with what the Assembly does. So in terms of legitimacy to the people, it is not there. So in 2023, we started our engagement with the Assembly to do what we usually do with our National Assembly in Kenya, create a portal of sorts whereby we can publicize plenary contribution of members of parliament in the Assembly, and also publicize the laws that they usually make in that particular assembly. And even when we were engaging with members of parliament in that assembly, the feel of even them knows that the people out there do not really know what we usually do in this house. And as civil society organization, how can you help us make sure that our work here is visible out there and people relate to what we do? So we are in the process. We wanted to create that portal, like I have said, publicize the laws, and also create a network within, strengthen the civil society network within East Africa, because as you know, there are countries with different contexts, political contexts, so that civil society in specific countries that are represented in their from their countries, the work that they do in the assembly. I think they also, the other big problem that comes in is also the implementation of laws that those assemblies usually pass. For instance, one of the main things that IALA should do is to make sure that there is a free movement of labor within East Africa, free movement of goods, and maybe at some point ensure there is a single currency within the community. But when you are a Congolese and a member of EACC and you need a visa maybe to go to Tanzania, then people will not relate with the work of that assembly since it is not making it easy for people to move within the community. So I think there are also dynamics in terms of people who are nominated to go and represent us in that assembly. What's the process of nominating them? Are people involved? Do they have the legitimacy, like I said? So there is need for a lot of work to make sure there is that awareness, to make sure there is access of information of what is happening in the East African Legislative Assembly.
Thank you very much. He touched on some very important aspects, issues of emerging technologies, such as the portal you're referring to, and maybe even social media campaigns that could aid in disseminating some of this information to the public, and ensuring that the partnerships that we create are dynamic and future-proof. I wanted Ms. Miller to go last because I think in her submissions, there were a number of positive aspects that speak to success in, or effectiveness in the way that you engage across the world. And maybe we could just allow you to share what strategies have made that possible, and also to share whether, in terms of public engagement, are people aware of the good work that you're doing? If not, what could be the challenges?
Thank you so much. You know, one of the things that's nice about having a microphone is that you can decide if you want to answer the questions that have been asked or answer your own thing. So I'll try to be disciplined in this moment. I think, I mean, yeah, I'm listening to this conversation, and one of the things that strikes me is just the reality and the truth that this issue of regional parliaments and regional engagements, on the one hand, is a difficult one. It's not an Africa-specific challenge, it's a global challenge. And then on the other side, you know, the issue of, you know, having citizens engaged is also difficult. So if you have difficulty engaging with citizens at the national level and having the sort of masses able to not only know, but to meaningfully engage, if you're going to have challenges at the national level, then of course that's going to translate into the regional. So I'm a very practical person, and I think that, you know, if one looks at this issue, there are political dimensions and the technical dimensions. I think the first point to make is obviously globally, in fact, regional platforms of any sort are often shaped, and even more so, regional parliamentary platforms are shaped by the political dynamics of the particular region, and they go through, and those dynamics, they go through waves. So the extent to which, for instance, a SADC Parliamentary Forum or an ECOWAS Parliamentary Forum or the COMESA one is able to move at a sustained pace or to sustain momentum that's been built is really going to depend, is going to be influenced by what happens at the national levels of the country, of the member countries of that regional platform. If the MPs that have been champions and advocates for work at that regional body are voted out of office and in an electoral cycle, then that structure is going to struggle, yeah? So the extent to which the technical work that it does is going to be very much shaped by that, unless, of course, even actually, not even unless, even if there's investment made in the institutional infrastructure of that SADC Parliamentary Forum, ECOWAS Parliamentary Forum. So I think we need to be very much aware of that. And that brings me to then the sort of specific lessons and recommendations. I think one of the things that we also have to recognize before I get to those is it's important to understand what the processes look like. In other words, we all know that parliamentary work happens at the committee level in parliaments as institutions. We all know that the parliament capacity in the institution is critical and really defines and shapes the kind of work that's happening at the committee level and the political nature of that work. Yeah, the extent to which it's political. So we need to acknowledge that. Understanding that then helps us then recognize the importance of champions for our agenda. So who can be identified as champions at the national level? Are those champions the same individuals that are likely or that have been elected to go sit in the regional engagements? That's a really important connection to make. And if they're not, if for instance the individual that goes to the SADC Parliamentary Forum as a representative of South Africa, Malawi, Botswana, et cetera, is not a champion, who else needs to be brought on board? So the issue of champions is really important. The second issue is, what is the regional issue? This is the political, technical sort of interface of the work. What is the regional issue? What is the issue that can bring together MPs at the regional level for them to tackle? And there's an opportunity here because we have sectoral expertise at the civil society and the civil society side. Open government platform or the framework can provide an opportunity to shape that too. It can be a convening space for that. Working with the regional body, actually. Yeah? So the issue of the identifying the champion and having the champions on the MP side, the parliamentary side, and then also champions on the civil society side who have the technical and sectoral expertise. The issue of the regional issue of concern that can bring together different parliamentarians, even at PUP. So that PUP is not just a convening of MPs who get to come to Midrand every so often and go shopping and have a great time. I hope none of them are here. I shouldn't be quoted. And us too, we also like to go shopping, let me put it that way. Mall of Accra is for all of us. But I think I'm being heard, so that these become, and if we don't have that kind of convening issue, we don't have the champions, we will not be able to move forward. We'll be having the same conversations in 5 years' time. The last thing I want to say is again, under SADC parliamentary reform as an example, my most immediate example, I think that there needs to be, there's an opportunity for them to play a convening role around that regional issue, the example that I gave around what should be focused on. And a convening role, not just for ensuring that that agenda around that issue is being driven, but also for peer learning moments. Peer learning moments that can be done in a scaffolding way. So you're targeting MPs on the one hand, you're targeting CSOs on the other hand, you're targeting staff. Yeah, because those three constituencies, we have different needs and different interests to some degree. Yeah, but if there's an issue that we can focus on where we can say, based on our particular needs and our particular interest, what is it that we can offer to drive that particular issue that we've agreed to is the regional priority. I think I'll stop there. So I'm being very practical, because I think talking about global, experiences, I am speaking based on my experience in this region, in this continent, and my understanding, and really hoping that it can provoke and stimulate. What does that look like then in terms of collective action or collaborative action in a very practical way? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we've captured that there needs to be championing, there needs to be pressing regional issues or priorities and peer learning moments. I think those are key strategies that we can look into implementing in our different regions. I think at this time, we have just enough time to get about 2 or 3 hands from the room before I give each one of my panelists about a minute to give us the parting word. I see a hand at the back there. I see a hand right here and one at the back. I think we'll end with those 3. So I'll start with my brother there at the back.
Mais uma vez, muito bom dia.
Just a moment, please.
Ouvi atentamente e tenho uma curiosidade que eu gostaria de partilhar com os meus amigos, irmãos. A minha questão é a seguinte: de que forma os parlamentos africanos podem colaborar entre si para partilhar as boas práticas em transparência, participação e inovação legislativa no espírito de uma governança aberta continental? Muito obrigado.
Please repeat it.
Okay. A minha questão é a seguinte: de que forma os parlamentos africanos podem colaborar entre si para partilhar boas práticas em transparência, participação e inovação legislativa no espírito de uma governança aberta continental?
Okay, thank you. My sister.
Thank you so much. My name is Jane Ngobi. I come from Uganda, and I also do serve with an organization called Akina Mama Africa. We're a Pan-African regional feminist leadership development organization. Back to the reflections, thank you so much, our panelists, for really opening our eyes and sharing the very powerful insights. I just want to reflect. I'm not asking a question, but I just want to reflect, adding to what my senior sister there says about the strategy of using champions as one of those ways we can use to benefit open parliaments. To that, I just want to add something from my experiences as well in Eastern Africa, is that most legislators are not aware. Yesterday when we were here in the discussion, I was telling my friends I have a bubble, because I think sometimes we are asking a lot from those who don't know. They are not aware. Majority of our parliamentarians in Eastern Africa do not have the capacity to play the oversight, to legislate, and do the role that we want them, we assume they should be doing. I was laughing with my neighbor here in the morning that sometimes we might be asking a lot from those who are not aware. Yeah, so that really poses a very big critical question, and we are all very aware that the issue of capacity plays a very critical role in the performance of what we want to achieve. So is it something that we can think about as civil society actors to support Parliament through building the capacity of legislators, continuous capacity building? Because wait, where does this problem come from? This is a political question. Because most parliaments or most countries are under authoritarian and democratic governance, you will find that there is a facilitation of loyalty in Parliament. Who goes to the House must be loyal to who? So that really influences a lot of power dynamics, and definitely manages and controls how parliamentarians really engage. So I would think that maybe part of the strategy here is to think about building the capacity of the champions anyway, so that we can be able to get the champions. Let's enhance capacity building for members of parliament. Thank you.
Thank you. May we have the last hand?
Good morning, everyone. And thank you for the panelists and the moderator for this interesting conversation. My name is Alfred Boulagali. I'm joining today from Senegal. I was not lucky to be on the conversation yesterday. Thanking you to have left this session for today. I know it was planned yesterday, so I feel like it was kept for myself, and thank you for that. So I want to welcome very particularly the experience the colleague of Muzalendo from Kenya shared about how they were able to merge like the open parliament and the open government processes by including open gov objectives in the National Action Plan of the OGP. Because the last 3-4 years we've been leading as Article 19 on both open government and open parliament initiative. And one of the things we meet in the field is that when we look at CSOs, the actors are almost the same. And I could even say they are the same. So if you are, in our effort to put in place the national network, we feel that we are having the same people engaged in the open gov and the same engaged in the open parliament. And the experience you have shared on how you are able like to include open gov within the National Action Plan is very meaningful for us, especially as we are trying to put in place this multi-stakeholders platform to enable to advance agenda. And that also come to strengthen the position of Madam Semela, who advised us to build on peer learnings. And looking at what they have achieved so far in Kenya, I feel inspired as a new starter in this program, and see how I can maybe deepen the conversation and learn from it so as we can build on for what we are trying to do in Senegal. So thank you for that. And in terms of strategy, I think beyond the three strategies Madam Semela shared, it's important also, like my sister said, to invest in capacity building, because one of the issues we face, and that will be my question, is this renewal of parliament members that bring you to restart everything, all process you've been starting. Like in the 3-4 last years, we have been meeting 3 different parliament members, because there was like a group that ended mandate, another elected, then it didn't finish their mandate, they were dissolved, and a new one. And as we are trying to bring the agenda, we face that every year we need to restart from the beginning. So capacity building becomes a key, an important key to advance the agenda, because it's not as if these people come with same objectives in terms of open parliament. Another thing I saw is important is to link what we are trying to promote as open parliament and open government. I'm finishing. Open government within promoting also the global culture of democracy and accountability, because our interlocutors come from this global political culture that is very closed. Now my question is, and it's mainly for the colleague of Muzalendo, but also everybody, I want to hear from your experiences how you deal with these continuous renewals of parliament to keep your agenda on track, and how you deal with these obstacles due to the continuous renewals of the parliament members, so as your agenda is on track. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think I'll just start by noting the 2 comments that speak to capacity building. No, we're not taking any more hands. Thank you. They speak to capacity building, but I think they can be situated within the 3rd strategy that Ms. Miller shared about peer learning moments and capacitating the different groups, the MPs on one side, the civil society itself, and staff members and the like. And then we go to the first question. I don't know who will take this. We don't all have to answer it. Somebody can just take this one. How can African parliaments share best practices?
Thank you very much. I think there's, I'll try to be very brief. I think there's an opportunity, actually. Well, first of all, the simple answer is that is one of the implicit roles of platforms like the Pan-African Parliament and the regional parliaments are supposed to be playing, actually. It's implicit. But obviously, we know the challenges. But I think this brings me to my real point, which is that I think there's an opportunity to use the vision for open parliament as an entry point for more systematic, more sort of intentional and structured kind of peer learning moments that can be created. And I want to use the opportunity that's already existing as an example where there's some parliaments in West Africa, I think it's Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Senegal, they've self-organized themselves around open parliament. Some of these parliaments have a standalone open parliament commitment that the parliament has shaped and is driving, and some have open parliament commitments that are within the sort of national action plan that the executive has driven. So so this is where, again, the role of the champions come into play to say, can we not actually use open parliament as that entry point, as that topic or that issue to then create peer learning moments so that parliamentarians, the parliament's parliamentary actors, activists like yourselves are having very, very like a plan, you know, and a series of engagements where peer learning that is specific, that is focused, that is going to add value to your day-to-day realities and work is taking place, you know. And that's a very low-hanging fruit. It's not something that has to cost a lot of money. It's having a virtual webinar session that has been virtual webinar masterclasses of 90-minute eats over a period of 12 months. And that have been co-created jointly by civil society actors, parliamentarians, people within the institutional parliament that focus on different topics and subjects, thematic issues. So it's a very simple, it doesn't have to be complicated, but I think that at the end of the day, the question that would need to be answered is, what is it that, those peer learning moments, what is it that people want to know about? What do they want to learn about? Because if they're just sort of, if they're not shaped by those that are going to own it, they're not going to add any value, and they're not going to come. The people are not going to come. Yeah? So the curation process, it does not have to be complicated. It can actually happen. And I want to put a challenge, I think, to your organization as the CSO, the regional CSO, to actually put this to the SADC Parliamentary Forum.